So Joe Rogan has been under fire for the past couple of days because a lot of people misinterpreted something he said on his podcast about RFK Jr. and they assumed that he was endorsing RFK Jr. Now, this sent the internet into overdrive. A lot of people got outraged. A lot of people said that they were no longer going to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. I saw a lot of people complaining, crying, and freaking out. And listen, I don't care who Joe Rogan endorses. I don't care who anyone endorses. Everyone is free to do what they choose. I don't have to like their choices. I don't have to like the fact that they endorsed this person or that person. But I do know one thing that I do not like. I do not like that a lot of people on the right are starting to act like insane cancel culture leftists these days. You know, people need to chill and pump the brakes when it comes to that stuff. There's a reason why a lot of people have, no pun intended, a lot of people have left the left. A lot of people have come over to the middle, or they've come over to the right because they're tired of the cancel culture type stuff. But now I'm seeing people on the right act the same way. Feeling as if they have to push their beliefs on everyone. And they have to rage out if you don't support this person or you don't support that. Do not act like a social justice warrior. That is not a good look. So I think people need to chill with that because I think it's going to turn a lot of people off. And you're not helping anything. You're not winning any votes by doing this. If anything, you're losing votes. And I think right now, picking a fight with one of the biggest podcasters in the world, I just don't think it's a good idea. A lot of people listen to Joe Rogan. I think Joe Rogan is responsible for waking a lot of people up to a lot of the weird stuff that's going on in today's world. Now, some of you all might not like him. Some of you all might not listen to his podcast, and that's fine, but you can't deny that it does numbers and that his voice, it spreads to a lot of people. But he was talking about how he likes RFK and stuff like that. And people just got outraged. And something kind of similar happened recently with Kyle Rittenhouse. And people were all trying to cancel him because he said that he was going to vote for someone else. And I'm just like, listen, you don't have to bully people into thinking like you or voting like you. That is the problem that we have with these crazy leftists. Be careful that when staring into the abyss, that the abyss does not stare back into you. When fighting monsters, be careful not to become a monster yourself. Do not become the thing that you hate. But I see a lot of people doing it. I do see a lot of people doing it. But this caused Joe Rogan to actually speak out. And listen, Joe Rogan has been accused of a lot of things. His name comes up in controversies all the time, especially during the lockdowns and the beer bug and all of that. But most of the time, he doesn't respond to a lot of the stuff that's going on, even when he's getting backlash. But he responded here, and this is what he had to say. For the record, this is not an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person. And I really appreciate the way he discusses things with civility and intelligence. I think we could use more of that in this world. I also think Trump raising his fist and saying fight after getting shot is one of the most American effing things of all time. I'm not the guy to get political information from. If you want that from a comic, go to Comic Dave Smith. He actually knows what he's talking about. So they kind of bullied Joe Rogan into responding to this controversy, and I feel like this is not necessary. Like, don't get me wrong, I get it. I get if you're frustrated that Joe Rogan hasn't had Donald Trump on his podcast. I get if you're frustrated that he has not endorsed Donald Trump. I honestly think that Joe Rogan probably wants to vote for Donald Trump, but he's trying not to be too divisive or whatever you want to call it. And I understand if that frustrates people. But at the same time, I just don't want to see these big cancel culture rage out campaigns against wrong think, because that's what the left has been doing for so many years. And that is that's one of the main things that really made me start talking about politics. I don't want to be here talking about politics at all. I was not interested in politics. It was because insane leftists made everything about politics, and they canceled everyone who thought differently than they did. That's why I'm here talking to you right now. So I just want to make sure that people don't become what we're actually fighting against. But of course, Donald Trump weighed in on this as well. And here's what Trump said. It will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring, MAGA 2024. So now we have shots fired directly from Donald Trump to Joe Rogan. Now we got a full-on beef, a full-on feud between Joe Rogan and Donald Trump. And folks, this is the last thing we need right now. I get it. Some of you may be frustrated by Joe Rogan. Let it go. Let it effing go. Like the movie Frozen. Do you not see what's happening on the other side of the aisle? Do you see Kamala Harris out here fighting with some of the most popular musicians and podcasters? No. She's doing concerts with Meg Thee Stallion. Meanwhile, you got freaking Donald Trump now beefing with the biggest podcaster in the world. Who is quite literally, regardless if you like it or not, it's just the facts. He's one of the most influential people in the world right now. And I know that sounds crazy to say that the old host of Fear Factor, is one of the most influential people in the world right now, but it's true. It's literally true. So I just think this is an all-around bad look. I don't think we need any infighting. I think we need unity. And at a time where a lot of people are coming towards the right, you don't need to turn those people away by acting like the same thing they're running against. A lot of these people are running away from this type of stuff. And they're running in this direction, and then you're being a cancel culture weirdo too. So what do you think is going to happen, folks? Now is not the time. If y'all want to argue and fight with Joe Rogan, after November or something, fine. Not right now. Not right now. But, of course, Joe Rogan has also been handling this with a sense of humor. So he posted this photo alongside Shane Gillis, who does an amazing Trump impression, saying that he talked to Trump and everything's good. So I'm glad that this hasn't gotten too heated, because this could have gotten worse than what it did. But at the same time, this could have been a non-issue, folks. This could have been a non-issue. Allow people to have their own opinions. Allow people to freely think and freely speak. You don't have to run a cancel culture campaign anytime someone says they may not vote for Trump or they don't like something Trump did or said. When you start acting like that, you're not helping yourself. You're not helping any movement. All you're doing is hurting yourself. You're hurting the movement, and you're turning people away. And I'm really tired of seeing stuff like this. But for now, I won't get tired of seeing you all down in my comments below. So comment as much as you want. Let me know what you think. I promise I won't cancel you for it. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. And if you find yourself getting too worked up by all of this, just like all of these people on the internet, remember, it's all just political cinema.